We're live and direct. And welcome once again. I'm going to do this again. This is Roxana Bangura of the Roxana Bangura channel and the Bangura Chronicles here on Patreon and Facebook, where I share with you my life here in Mexico with my daughter and beyond. Today is the beyond. If you've been following my channel for some time, you'll know that my family is West African. My parents are from Sierra Leone and the Gambia, grandparents from Guinea. So I have the privilege and honor of talking to a sister who is Sierra Leonean and by way of California, and she did her DNA and she traced herself to the Mende people of Sierra Leone. And I have the honor of talking to her today. Her name is Chavonna and Frazier. So thank you for honoring me with your presence on my channel. It is appreciated.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to talk to you.
It's so nice. We've been talking on the phone for hours. So it's so nice to talk to you. And I guess my first question is, what led you to do your DNA?
Just simple, I wanted to know where I was actually from on the continent in Africa.
Okay.
My story, obviously, I'm American born, so I'm a descendant of a transatlantic slave victim. And a lot of African Americans don't know their point of origin in Africa due to that. So
Yes.
they made this available, through DNA testing. AfricanAncestry.com specifically was the company that I went through. And once I found out about the whole DNA testing, I was like excited. I had to know. So that's why I did it. That was the basis, like the main reason why I did my DNA, to find my lost, heritage culture.
Now, what did your parents think about you embarking on the journey of finding your DNA? How did they receive that?
They were, well, since my dad passed away, so about 2 years ago. So thank you. He never had that knowledge, but my mom and the rest of my family, because the Mende is my maternal side. So that, that's like the side of the family that I grew up with. So they were all like very happy and surprised and, didn't know that I had done it until I actually got the testing. Because I didn't really talk to anybody about it. It was just something that I wanted to do on my own for a long time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you this: if when you discovered, what did you ever have an idea of where you were from? Did you have any inkling? It was all new.
All new. I mean, my aunt and my grandmother had been working on our family tree, trying to, locate our journey through America and, where we came from originally, before, we were transplants to California. Because my family, both sides, originally, my grandparents on both sides are not from California. So they arrived in California in the early 70s.
Okay.
So they were trying to trace, their roots. Both their parents died when they were young. And so, they didn't have any knowledge of that after they were all like orphans, but they traced back to like the South, of course. Even though, it said, the Gullah Geechee, South Carolina, North Carolina is like where everybody Mende in America came through. But the records, we know about the records. They didn't keep any track of, who we were, and they purposely mixed us. So yeah, I didn't have any idea. The only thing, of course, that, we have knowledge of is, what Pacific European origin or DNA that we have. I have Irish because one of my great grandparents was a full-blooded Irish person.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, but everybody else, none of my DNA tests, none of the lines have originally traced back to Europe or anywhere else. They're all African. So I'm happy about that.
Oh really?
But yes, all of them.
All of them. So that was that. What did that feel like when you discovered that information?
I mean, I don't want to be like that, but I mean, I was really happy because I am a Black woman. and the percentages of other DNA and all that. I mean, I want the knowledge because I want to know my history, but uh, what was important to me is like my African heritage, obviously. So when you look at me, when I walk in the room, you see a Black woman, definitely.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So once you made the discovery that your Mende, did you dig deeper? What was the next steps after you found out that you were Mende? What were the next steps with connecting with Sierra Leone? How did you go about that? What was the journey like? Take us through that process.
Okay, well, I was, stalking the mailman for about 6 weeks for my results. But when I got them and found out where I was from, immediately, I couldn't do enough research online or, any type of literature. I had to actually go there. And so,
Go there as in Sierra Leone?
to Sierra Leone, go to
Okay.
Sierra Leone,
Okay.
travel there. I had never been to Africa, but I've always had a deep desire that, the first time that I went to Africa, I would know exactly where to go, meaning where I was from. So that's just my personal, desire. That was my personal desire. But just basically, African Ancestry, this is the company that I did the test through. They have an online community that is private and only test takers are allowed to join. So you kind of have like a private community where everybody can network and exchange information, and you meet a lot of people, on your same journey. And so that's where I, went after I got my results, and I connected with a lot of people from everywhere in Africa, but a lot of people in Sierra Leone, because our people were some of the most taken from West Africa. So there's like a large amount of people from Sierra Leone that their results come back Sierra Leone, different tribes. So
and I wonder if people know that in these DNA ancestry circles, because there's a lot of people who are Black American, and who are Nigerian. So you don't hear too much about Sierra Leonean ancestry. Sometimes a lot of people come back Nigerian. So that's very interesting to know that there's a large percentage of people that you've connected with that have Sierra Leonean DNA, particularly from the Mende ethnic group or from different ethnic groups. From the Mende ethnic group.
Well, it's a lot of Mende. It's Timni. I haven't seen too much of the Limba, but it's either Mende or Timni or the mixture that everybody is.
And these are large groups. Yeah.
Large groups. We're high. There's a lot of Mende, or I'm sorry, Sierra Leone result within that community of all these other people testing and coming back from other countries in Africa. Sierra Leone definitely has a presence, but there were a lot of people who were Mende and of Sierra Leone descent, and we kind of all, gravitated towards each other. And so I kind of put the initiative together to take a trip over there because, they didn't have any trips planned, or of course, once people find out this information, they're going to want to go and, visit and see and connect with the people, that they're originally attached to. So that was my whole motive. And so it just turned into something really special. It was kind of short notice how we planned it because we only had a certain amount of time, and that type of trip is a lot that goes into the planning. But we were able to get together 8 of us, and we all traveled to Sierra Leone, and were able to connect with the Sierra Leone Republic itself, the government, and then our chiefdom in Sierra Leone. So that was an experience, that I would never forget. It's one of the most emotional, I don't know, closure, healing. I was so happy. That was one of the happiest moments of my life, to actually go there and see, where my ancestry originated from. We were all.
I can relate, and I felt that in the video that you sent to me on your journey, the video from Miss Grace McCauley video. How I felt that when you guys went to Cotton Tree, for example,
Mhm.
The cotton tree is very symbolic in like in Sierra Leonean folklore and Sierra Leonean culture, particularly to well, coming from, let me say, the Creole perspective, because I told you my mom is Creole,
Mhm.
and the Creoles are the freed slaves that somehow made their way, or freedmen that made their way back to Sierra Leone from the West. So the cotton tree is very symbolic. Take me to that day when you all went to the cotton tree. The cotton tree is a large tree in the middle, in Freetown, and there's a lot of mysticism around it. It's a sacred tree. It's a magical tree. Can you take me back to that day when you were at the cotton tree? Cotton tree.
Yes. That was one of the many highlights. But I would have to say, like, you know, top three. But yeah, it was a magnificent, um, you know, like, it's huge. I've never seen a tree that big, but it has a symbolic meaning, and where it was placed in Freetown, you could see directly down the middle, like, of town to the water. Because the history is, that's where they used to have a selling block, and then you would be marched to the shores to be shipped off. But it was beautiful. We did our libation with the eldest in our group, said a prayer. Um, One of the attendees in the tour, she spread her daughter's ashes there. Uh, it was
At the cotton tree?
at the
At the
cotton
cotton
tree.
tree?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Um, it's dead center in town. It's right by the state house. It's in a beautiful location. It's humongous. Um, the only thing is, like, there's bats in this tree.
Ooh.
And I was like, wait a minute, that is not a bird. Wait.
Yeah.
So, but it's magnificent, and you could feel the energy, um, the symbolic energy of
Mhm.
that, the significance of that
Yes,
tree.
it's very sacred. It's a very
Yeah.
sacred tree. Now, the woman, I want to know how much support you received, because you met people who were, connected online, and you all organize yourselves. How much support did you receive from the Sierra Leonean diaspora, Sierra Leoneans that you've met in the United States? How did they help facilitate your trip? Can you tell us, how supportive they were of you all as a group to realize this, journey back to Sierra Leone?
Well, it was one Sierra Leonean in particular, Eugenia Chingsman, um, my travel agent. And actually, a step back, Dr. Evelyn Blyden, he's the one that was kind of mentoring me and giving me a lot of information about Sierra Leone. Because if you look up the Blydens, they have a really uh, a history in Sierra Leone.
I
First.
think, is there also Blyden? Are they also Liberian too?
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
But
Yes.
they did a lot of work in Sierra Leone, and he's a descendant of that family. So with helping me learn about the culture and everything, he referred me to my travel agent, Eugenia Chingsman. She is the CEO and operator of Man's Travel, and she is also born and raised a Creole woman from Sierra Leone, Freetown. So she's the one who really facilitated this, because she was ecstatic. She was so proud and honored to help us plan our travel, because, as she stated, a lot of people go to, other countries, and Sierra Leone wasn't always one of the popular destinations, but now, it's becoming very popular. But, she's from that country, so she went out of her way to, like, make sure that everything, every down to every detail was perfect for us, and just giving us history and what to expect, and really making sure that our trip was memorable. And she did an
Okay.
excellent job. I haven't really connected with any Sierra Leonean community in my city, Sacramento. The larger communities on the West Coast are in LA, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 6 hours away from LA. I don't go to LA too often. But anybody that I've ever met online, or who is nearby, they're always so nice, and any information or any question I have, or they just check on me to talk to me. So I will say that Sierra Leoneans, once we find each other, we seriously connect, and we seriously have a bond for each other, and a love for each other.
That's
So
beautiful. Oh, and I saw, Chavonna and I are in a group online called Black Americans Living Abroad. And, we had commented on this post, and she said, well, Sierra Leone is she put the flag of Sierra Leone. And she said, I'm going there. I have plans there. And I was like, oh, I jumped in her inbox, as it were, and I reached out to her because I don't see that much commentary about Sierra Leone online too much in that particular group. So that's why I reached out to her, and she was kind enough to come on my channel. Well, I'm happy that you had a good experience with what's her name again? The travel agent? Chaseman, Gina Chaseman.
Yeah.
So tell me about the day of arrival, like when you got there. Walk us through that day when your feet touched the ground in Sierra Leone, West Africa. What was that like for you?
Well, I'll never deny that feeling. I was taken away. I couldn't believe I was actually in Africa and in the country of my origin. So I was really overwhelmed, just a combination of emotions. But and we all were. But it was beautiful that day. We went in April, so it's hot. But I come from a hotter climate in California, but it was nice. And you smell the smells, the sea, you could smell everything. It was just different. It was beautiful. And we got off the plane, and we had some of the local press there to meet us and greet us, and they just took us through customs and make sure that we were transported safely from Langley, because you have to take a ship, harbor. But it was just an overwhelming experience. I mean, the Sierra Leone dance team was there. All the people that live on the island of Langley, they were all there. Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on here? But I was so happy. I was so proud. And I was glad that I made that journey. It's a long plane ride, but I mean, it was one that needed to be made. But I was happy, and from the time that I arrived, I mean, I was just so I felt like I belonged. I felt like this is where I belonged. And I don't know when the last time you've been home, but it's beautiful. The landscape,
mountains and sea. It is beautiful.
And just how the proximity to water everything is, and just just everything. It's very beautiful. I mean, Sierra Leone is a hidden gem, actually.
I believe it is, particularly from those of us in America. I believe it is. Europeans, because there's heavy tourism from Europe, but it's proximity. It's from Western Europe. There's a lot of tourists, but we were talking about it in terms of traveling. It's expensive. It's costing. To get from the United States to Africa for a lot of people. For a lot of people. Take us to the time when you all went to the Bunce Island. Bunce Island, yes. What was that like? And I was listening to the tape of the moderator, and he said, slavery had existed prior to Europeans. Slavery is probably as old as time. But and I'm always hearing this theme about enslavement, slavery was terrible, awful, but Africans didn't know that what their people were going to experience, in the transatlantic slave trade. And I don't want to use the word upsetting, because slavery is bad. It's bad, it's wrong, it's immoral, it's illegal, it's bad. And I think maybe Africans tell that story to kind of assuage their guilt or their conscience. Oh, well, we did do slavery, but when the Europeans came, we didn't know that it was going to be as bad as what happened to our people when they got taken to the West. So what were you thinking during the time the moderator was talking when you were on that island? The door of no return. What was going through your mind, and can you share maybe what discussions you had that day when you went to that island?
Well, I mean, it was something that I needed to see. We were all very nervous, because we knew what we were about to encounter, and just like see over there, because that was like basically, as we knew it, our final place that we were before we were shipped off, and then here we are 400 years later coming back. So that was a lot, but I kind of have an understanding. I know a lot of African Americans and the diaspora want to. I'm sorry. They want to disassociate themselves from the continent, because the question about Africans sold us into slavery, and the combination of all that. But if you really think about it, in my mind, I had already prepared myself and kind of got knowledge about the whole situation. And the situation is, you can't change what happened. But secondly, you were either a victim or you were a slave trader, or you could be a descendant of either or, because we all know that, yeah, they were selling slaves. They were selling like captives and criminals and everything that they were fighting against in their kingdoms. And then there were some people who weren't selling slaves, but then their people were getting stolen and taken, so they would retaliate. So it was one of those things. It wasn't just like Africans decided to just all of a sudden rally up everybody and start selling them to Europeans. It wasn't like that. A lot of us don't even know, but we could be a descendant of somebody who was a part of a slave catcher or a slave seller, or you could be a descendant from a victim. Either way, the times are different than what they are now, and we can't change it. All we can do right now is reconnect. So I kind of had that mentality going there, but it was really sad to see how the slaves were kept, the treatment that they received, just how close they were, proximity to the mainland, and they still couldn't get back. Because you don't know what's in that water, and then like the swim is like 30 miles, but you can see like the land right there, but nobody ever made it out of there. Nobody ever that we have knowledge of ever survived to swim back over. But it was very emotional. Men and women got very emotional. Tears were falling, and also too, on the brighter side, a lot of our ancestors did come to try to rescue us. But the British and the Portuguese, they had weapons. They fought for us, but were overcome, and so that's why a lot of us, went off. But it's the misconception about our people didn't care about us and nobody tried to help us. That's not true. They did, and to know that was kind of like a relief too. But Buns Island is grim. You can feel the spirits. You see how they kept these people and how they try to break their spirit, but at the same time, leave them healthy enough so that they can be sold off to the next person. It was horrible. It was horrible. And if you go to Sierra Leone, you have to go there. You have to go in and sign that log, and just, oh my God! Especially if you're a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade and you come from Sierra Leone, this is a place that you need to go and regain closure, and just say a prayer for your ancestor, because that was probably like the last time that they ever even saw our country. It's horrible.
Regain closure. I think that's really important. I don't want to cry. I
I
don't
know,
want to
I'm
cry.
crying. Cry.
I don't want to cry because I went to South Carolina, Sullivan's Island,
Okay, yeah.
and it's called the Black Ellis Island. Europeans came through Ellis Island, a lot of Black people, like 40% of us came through Sullivan's Island in South Carolina.
Mhm.
And when you go there, it's like a watering hole and like a swamp. People go there to fish and boat and take boats. There was nothing there until Toni Morrison, the late author Toni Morrison. She put a bench and a plaque there to commemorate, the crime against humanity that took place there, right? And so when we went there, I literally thought, my God, who is in this water? That's my relation. Who is here in this water that's related to me? So I can only imagine on Bonsai Island, the same thing. We got, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't want to get too personal. It's a lot. But I can only imagine what took place that day for you. I visited other enslaved castles in Ghana, and it's always very emotional. But it was important to do that. It was important for me to go there to literally touch where they touched. To be in their presence and to commune with the antecedents. My antecedents. That was very important for me. And so I'm always trying to reconnect. With our people. Let me ask you, the next step in this beautiful process of you regaining a part of your identity is that you have Sierra Leonean citizenship. So huge, hello, I want Sierra Leonean citizenship. How did that come about? Tell me that day when you took your passport picture. Let me know about that. Let us know about that.
So we, you can't apply for a passport unless you're presently in the country. So we already had this trip planned and everything, and we wanted to go into immigration and just, apply like everybody else. The tourism company that we go through, they are one of like the registered tourism, like official government agencies, and they tourism agencies that the government approves of Sierra Leone, and they kind of like networked with the right people. Like these are descendants. They're all DNA proved to be Sierra Leonean. This is the year of return. How about we gift them this? Give them back their birthright. This is the story that I got after everything was said and done, and how they advocated for us, to become Sierra Leonean citizens. But we found out that we were going to be granted citizenship, shortly before we even arrived. So that was not even.
Amazing.
We didn't even know this was going to happen. But they loved us. They're very welcoming government, and they welcome us like family. But that day, we arrived, went to the immigration, we filled out all the applications and submitted all of our documents, and everybody's spirits were high. I have a lot of pictures and photos that you could see. I'll give you the link to look at my website and
please do.
But yeah, we were just in there filling out everything, and then they came in and ushered us to the section where they do the photography, and we took our pictures and everything, and then there's a process, but they were expedited, and were given to us later on by the president himself. But so it was a couple of days, and then we met with him at the State House right there in the Secret Service and security and all this stuff, and we were just so excited. And we were waiting to go into his office and meet him, and yeah, it was an overwhelming experience. Like when he walked in and greeted us, everybody was just taken away.
Citizenship is a really big deal, like it's a really big deal. It's like huge, because there are a lot of people who are they want to get residency, they want to own property in Africa, those that are interested in relocating there or having tangible investments. So that's a very huge deal. And and it's an ECOWAS country, so Economic Mission of West African States or Council. So
Yeah.
you have passage. Your
To
goal.
all those countries visa free, and that's my whole objective. Like once I received that, I realized how important that was, and then on my current journey, it is coming in handy because I'm out of here. I'm moving to Sierra Leone next year.
Please, I mean,
I'm going back home.
how can you do that? And how do your family, how do people feel about that? That's like huge, that's like a major life change. So why Sierra Leone?
Well, it's a country that I'm from. So if I did start out in Africa, I'm going home first. And if
I know
things
that
happen, yeah, I'm going home first. And I can branch out, but I just want to be on the continent, and I'm gonna put use to that passport that they blessed us with. I mean, I'm not just gonna sit on it. I'm gonna use it. So what better way to be directly on the continent and be able to travel to all these different places? Because I do have paternal ancestry in Cameroon, even though that's not one of the places. But I'm just saying, like, I plan to go to all those places, and then I'm going to be a resident, but I'm not going to just like a resident. I'm a citizen. Um, and then purchasing land so that I can get established and opening up businesses. When I leave America, I'm leaving all America's habits and ideas behind. I'm gonna become a business owner. I'm working on my own things, and they gave me the opportunity to do that by giving me citizenship. So I'm telling you, I'm so grateful, so happy. I understand the value, and I'm not a person that's just gonna be like, oh, what's the big deal? This is just, whatever. To me, I feel like it was meant because I'm a person that really would take advantage of that. And I really am grateful and are trying to do something different with, what I was given. So thank you, ancestors. I'm telling you.
This is huge. What business ideas? Because Sierra Leone is a developing country. We're a rich country, but we're a very poor country at the same time. Rich in resources, but poor in infrastructure. What development? I guess. What do you want to do when you're there? What type of businesses, I should say?
Well, definitely land ownership. Right now I'm in the process of trying to develop a diaspora village in Sierra Leone to entice, encourage, and kind of facilitate people like me, coming behind me, or people who are even there that I don't know yet, so that we can all purchase land together as a collective and reestablish ourselves in the country amongst everybody else. So that's number one. That's what we're trying to do. You know, get our place there in Sierra Leone. And then I have a lot of other business ideas that are like in the make, solar power, solar energy, rainwater management. Because yeah, Sierra Leone has poor infrastructure, but on the bright side, because I'm looking at it from the bright side, that gives us an advantage because all this stuff that we have now is, not eco-friendly. So we are brand new, and when we do incorporate our infrastructure, it will be eco-friendly and environmentally friendly versus what we have currently in place and all this stuff going on right now. So I wanted to say that. So when we do build, it will be better for our environment and better for the people. But and just living life, just like I live life here in America, and I travel and I meet people and adventure, love my kids because I have two children, um, you know, all that wrapped in one. That's what I'm planning on doing. So that's what is currently in the making right now for me.
How does your mom, your other relatives now? How do they feel about moving to
Well,
Africa, to Sierra
I'll
Leone?
be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. They were happy to know, where we're from and everything. But, as we talked about the disconnect with a lot of African Americans, my family is very pro-Black, but and Black people. But as far as like our African heritage, there's a huge disconnect. I'm more of the Pan African African in the family. I really don't. I mean, I know I'm American born, but I've always had that connection or like that longing to connect to Africa since I was young. So they don't understand. You know, they know how I am, but they don't really believe or want to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Um, they don't want me to leave because I have kids and they want, to be around me and the kids growing up. But, it's my life and this is, what I am wanting to do to be happy. And I'm happiest when I'm over there, the
Wow.
peace. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for peace. You know what America has to offer right now, and
I sure do.
you're not even in the States.
You know where I want to retire to. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not too happy. No matter what I do, I know my family is gonna love me and they're gonna support me, and I know that. But they're not on board.
Okay.
They'll probably come visit once they get settled and with the idea of me being gone. Because I have a real tight relationship with a real close relationship with my entire family. Kind of special. I know a lot of people are not connected like that with all their family members, but we are. So that's why another reason why I know it's like emphasized even harder because, I'm kind of like breaking that chain.
You're breaking that chain.
Yeah.
How do you think your children will adapt or, well, like it, not like it? How are you going to do that with the kids? Because it's real different when you have children, moving. I mean, moving to Mexico, there was a real adjustment period for my daughter. And how old are your kids, and how do you think they're going to adjust to life in Sierra Leone?
Well, they've followed me and been supportive to me, even with their 8 and 10-year-old selves. They know what's going on with mom, and they are on board too. But I have no idea how this is going to work out. I hope it works out for the best. But they are eager to go. They also are, eager to learn the different languages, and I think they will adjust fine because, the people are very nice over there. They're kids and they get along with kids here. So they should be able to get along with kids in Sierra Leone. Um, and I'm planning on taking a couple of trips out there, to, establish like where they're going to go to school and all that. I already have that in the works right now. So hopefully the transition will be okay. They're young, and that's another thing that I'm like kind of leaning on, that they're young and they're not attached to America as much as that, if they were like in 10th grade or, seniors in high school and we're moving the senior year, I wouldn't do anything like that. So that's why I want to, transfer them over there when they're young so they can adapt easier and, have a longer experience with the culture, because they're young and they'll pick up the languages and stuff. So I'm optimistic.
Okay.
And my kids are happy, so I'm happy. Yeah.
Do you, in closing, what advice would you give to someone who's like you, who's very, pro-Black, pro-Black diaspora, Pan-African, and who maybe did their DNA? What advice would you give to them, exploring their identity, reclaiming their identity?
I would definitely encourage them to get with a group of people like-minded like them and get around people who have also DNA tested and who are, uh, trying to reconnect. Travel to Africa yourself. Don't be scared to go. You have to set foot on the continent to get the full exposure and experience. The life-changing information that you receive through your DNA or whatever research that you trace back to get that result or whatever. And just definitely don't worry about criticism. A lot of stuff has happened to our people. to brainwashing and just disbelief and disconnect. So a lot of people are not open to the idea. So just keep your head up, keep your, keep learning, keep always searching and reconnect, despite what the masses of people are trying to say, or trying to discourage you not to, or whatever. Because that's what I went through, and I will tell you that that was like the main thing. And just be happy. Also enjoy it. Enjoy your newfound information, and just indulge yourself in your culture, and be happy that we live in an age and time that we can do this, because look how many generations have lived and died and they don't even know where they come from, and now we do. So just we breaking generational curses, and now from this point on our family can reconnect and we know where we come from. So just you know keep that same energy. Keep you be the historian in your family, and keep the record, and let everybody know who wants to hear your experience, because that's how we all are going to open our eyes up to the importance of knowing our original culture and traditions, because it changes your whole spirit. It changes who you are when you know where you come from. That may be cliche, but I'm telling you,
Very true.
I'm a different person.
Very true. I mean, well said. It's Bob Marley sings about this. Yeah, very true. It makes a difference when you know where you come from. You have clarity. You have clarity. Well, this has been a great conversation. Like I told you on the phone, I'm super excited. I want you to continue moving forward with your plans. I'm here supporting you in spirit. We'll link up one day and meet. I got to give you some African clothes. We got to talk Creole, Mende,
Yes, yes.
and it's important for you to make connections with the Sierra Leonean diaspora. I've posted your information into our family chat on Facebook, our family
Thank you.
page. So we're here, we're rooting for you, sending you good vibrations, good vibes, and God bless you. Best of luck, best wishes to you and your family. And your family will come around. They'll come around, and they love you. So they're going to support you. They love you. They'll be with you. Oh, we have a comment. Let me see, because someone may have asked the question. Okay, sign what log? Okay, so someone wants to know is to sign what log? So I'm thinking when you went to the Bonse Island, maybe, is that what she's referring to?
Yes. So this they have a log that all the visitors that come to Buns Island, they sign in, and it kind of like funds the upkeep and the cleanup of the island and everything. But when I opened the book, I saw a lot of people, a lot of Africans from the diaspora had written in the book and wrote like, "We have returned," or "Mom, Dad, I've returned," or "We've." So it's kind of symbolic to your experience when you go into Buns Island. Just sign your name on the ledger. It's kind of like that return, that full cycle. That the same way that we came out, we came back through.
We came back.
We
We
came
came
back.
back. Absolutely, we came back. And I think that book is like a testament. It's like a witness. It's like evidence. Hey, we're back. That's powerful. That's powerful. Well, thank you, Miss Frazier. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah.
And God bless you. God
God bless
bless
you
you.
too.
All right.
Thanks for reaching out. I
Well,
appreciate
thank you. Thank you. All right. Have a good one.
you too. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. And